Your next lesson is offensive positions. So I'm getting my red lightsaber out to remind you you don't need to write anything here. Just pay attention. Here are the questions that you'll need to be able to answer by the end of this lesson to know that you've mastered the information. Number 1, how many offensive linemen would you typically find on the field during a normal play from scrimmage? Number 2, what are the offensive linemen's individual position names? Number 3, what position throws passes? Number 4, what position's primary job is to catch passes? What is the primary job of the halfback or tailback? What is the primary job of the fullback? And last question, number 7, what position is a mix between offensive lineman and wide receiver? Most of the time when you watch a football game, you'll see a setup that's something like this. Only on TV, it'll be from the side. But we're going to look at it this way because it's easier to see this way. The ball is here, and it creates this line called the line of scrimmage. Before the ball is snapped, nobody on either team can cross the line of scrimmage. So the offense is here, the defense is here. The offense has the ball, the defense is defending their end zone. These 5 guys are the offensive line. This middle guy here, he's called the center. The guys on his right and left are the guards because they guard the quarterback. The guys on the ends are the tackles. The defense will be trying to get the guy with the ball, and their job is to stop them. Each play starts with the center snapping the ball back to the quarterback. The quarterback is this guy. The offense is going to do one of 2 things on every play: run the ball or pass the ball. If it's a run, it's actually kind of easy for the quarterback. He just has to turn around and hand it or toss it back to one of these guys here. These are the running backs. There are 2 types of running backs, the halfback and the fullback. If you guessed that the fullback would be the guy all the way in the back and the other one would be halfway up, then you're a rational person. You'd also be wrong. Well, back in the day, they used to have a formation that looked like this. So the quarterback, halfbacks, fullback. The quarterback would throw the ball, halfbacks ran the ball, and the fullback would block defensive players. Someone finally said, let's not put the guy whose job it is to block in the back. So he eventually got moved up, and they kept their names. Sometimes the quarterback will actually hand the ball to the fullback, but not usually. Usually he hands it to the halfback. The halfback is going to be the faster one. The quarterback will also throw the ball to the wide receivers, these guys out here in blue. Their job is to catch the ball. Typically, if they're split out wide, they're called wide receivers. If they're in between the receivers and the line, sometimes they're called a slot receiver, but they're still wide receivers. The tight end is kind of half wide receiver and half offensive lineman. Sometimes he'll try to catch a pass, other times he has to block. So we've got the center, the guards, the tackles, the tight end, the quarterbacks, the running backs, and the wide receivers. And that is your offense. For your offensive positions test, number 1, how many offensive linemen would you typically find on the field during a normal play from scrimmage? Well, if you remember, there was 2 guards and 2 tackles, so that was a total of 5 in all. What are the offensive linemen's individual position names? Number 2, we just mentioned that. So those are the right and left guards and tackles, and then the center. So that's 2 tackles, 2 guards,
position
and 1
throws
center.
passes?
That should be a pretty easy one. That's the quarterback. Now, number 4, what position's primary job is to catch passes? So that's the wide receivers or wideouts. And even if you put tight end, that would be acceptable, but the primary position who receives passes are the wide receivers. What is the primary job of the halfback or the tailback? The halfback or tailback carries the ball, typically referred to as the ball carrier. Number 6, what is the primary job of the fullback? So the fullback, his primary job is to block. So that's blocking for the quarterback, blocking for the tailback, halfback, and also for catching passes out of the backfield. And finally, number 7, what position is a mix between an offensive lineman and a wide receiver? And that would be a tight end.